for left in the blue. He's for Storm. He is Haas.
And his opponent spawning down on the bottom right. He is currently teamless. He is GuMiho.
Do we consider this a team kill anyways, though? Like, up until, what was it, 2 months ago, they were on the same team, but of course, you know, GuMiho playing Korea, Haas playing from Taiwan, from Taiwan. That's fairly close geographically, but, I mean, GuMiho and Haas, I would argue they walk in different metaphorical circles, as it were. You know, GuMiho plays with all the Korean players at the top of the Korean ladder, and Haas, I don't think he's quite there.
To be honest, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure what Haas's practice patterns look like. He certainly, you know, is capable of being at that level too and playing the same stuff. But I know that a lot of players, they do play customs.
Yeah.
Once again, I'm not sure if, like you said, if they're playing against each other too much. It would be very interesting to see how much they've played on the ladder, because just with how the regionals have worked up till this point, they don't play each other in major tournaments very often. You know, they've played a few weeklies against one another. They've played a show match here and there. They played in a couple of tournaments like offline, but very minimally compared to a lot of players in terms of historical matchups.
Yeah, certainly. And as we look at this going forward, I mean, you're absolutely right, Steadfast, especially if Haas has not been playing against GuMiho all that much. On the one hand, okay, you know, no team kill, whatever, fine. Or no, like, X team kill, I guess. But on top of that, to figure out what Haas is doing, you have to take a look at what Haas is doing. And if you have less experience there, it can work out fairly well in Haas's favor. So for now, as we look at this, it's going to be a decently timed Twilight coming out of Haas. Knowing what you know about Haas, and we see him playing the WTL, we see him playing in other things, what should we be looking out for?
That's the thing. You'll never know.
That's fair.
Until you see it. It can be as simple as just 4-gate Blink Stalker. It could be 2-gate Robo Expand, or it could be DTs. It could be 5-gate Glaives. It could be a 6-gate Charge Lot all in. The options are so unlimited for a player like Haas, and that's what makes him such a terrifying player, is that he's not afraid to go for this nice grenade right there from GuMiho. Bumps himself over the wall, gets the scout on the Twilight Council, sees the extra gateway, and I think it is going to be 4-gate Blink, but at the very least, GuMiho is on top of it and he sees what's up.
Yeah, you love to see that, though. It's just a little bit of tech. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, and this time, absolutely it did. GuMiho gets a full scout of the main, and there we go. 3 more gateways are on the way. That extra one you talked about, 2 more on top of it, and well, we should see a War Prism on the way after this. Again, this was Stargate into Robo. There was no, or excuse me, Twilight into Robo. There was no Stargate. This is not, say, Oracle into Blink, something like that. This is Haas pretty much getting as many Stalkers as possible, as quick as possible. And there we go. War Prism on the way. Now, GuMiho, his response is going to be some Widow Mines, which technically shouldn't get that much done, but hey, you know, he's GuMiho and maybe he finds something.
I mean, it is off of a double gas opener, so this is a much faster Widow Mine drop than, you know, the other setup. And GuMiho, he's going to see the 4 gates. He's going to be able to say, hey, I want to keep at least one of these Widow Mines alive. And look at this. He doesn't even drop both of the mines out. Oh, if he can hit the War Prism, that would be amazing. Oh, would have been even better if he could have hit these probes on the left side. But Haas was able to send his units back to work. However, it's the one in the natural that found 5 probes. Sneaky GuMiho. And, well, look at the supplies.
Yeah. Haas was trying to be so fancy. He was trying to save a probe with his Warp Prism from the mine. You're really showing off here. And he loses 5 workers in the natural. So, you know, Hearthstone would call this anti-micro, and I think that's very fair. Although, again, in general, that's when you micro and it actually ends up being worse. In this case, too much APM focused in the main, not enough in the natural. And now GuMiho, I mean, he's got 1 tank ready, 2nd one on the way, a couple Widow Mines. I think those are across the map for the most part. A Raven as well for shutdowns or anti-armor missile if that's what he wants. And it's not an easy hold for GuMiho, even with all the damage that has been done. but it's a lot easier than it would have been if if those Widow Mines had not found what they did.
Yeah, very true. Oh, GuMiho if he burrows.
GuMiho burrow.
Oh, it's a race to see who pays attention first.
And yeah, Haas will pull away. Okay. That's a little bit awkward, but you only have so many things you can pay attention to. Massive anti-armor missile though, and that means these Stalkers, even with 2 blinks available to them, their blink and the Warp Prism, they take a lot of damage, so it buys more time. And now we have 2 tanks out, third one just about done. The anti-armor missile still here. This bunker continues to get the hug of life. Now it will eventually fall, but the Stalkers, I mean, SCVs are starting to fall here, Steadfast. But I mean, actually, as I say that, the SCVs are going to have to run away. Gotta get to the safety and the sucker of the tank, but it's starting to look like something.
The thing is, even as this happens, more damage is happening on the other side of the map. And GuMiho, he can not mine from his natural and still be fine for a while. Oh, big link forward coming on in. Not able to get the 2 tanks right away. No split target fire from Haas, so he loses most of the Stalkers, and he will lose the game. GuMiho will take game number 1.
Yeah.
As expected, but we got there in an exciting way, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Haas, he blinked in at the best possible opportunity. The 2 tanks were unsieged. You find value there, but unfortunately, I mean, you lose that many workers when you're already going all in. You got to win right there. And if you don't, the game does end. So Haas, he couldn't kind of poke around at the edges and maybe find something. So now, GuMiho's up 1. Round 1 of Haas. Doesn't get much. But I think we're all, if that's the level of insanity that Haas brings into this series, I think we're all going to go home a little disappointed, Steadfast. That's something that Max Packs will do. Actually, Max Packs will do it better. Anyone is going to go for like a 4-gate blink and say, this is fine. Where's the Haas that makes us question our very sanity? We haven't seen it yet.
No, we haven't. I'm feeling very sane after this setup, that is for sure. Yeah, I would love to see something a little bit more wild. Absolutely. I don't think the standard play is going to cut it against GuMiho. I don't think it is. And that's nothing against Haas. That's just GuMiho being, on paper, the better player. And we saw it with like the Widowmine in the natural. We saw it with just the well, we actually didn't get to see a match. It was really just that Widowmine into the natural. But it is definitely looking comfortable right now for GuMiho. And Haas, I want to see some wild stuff.
Yeah. The other thing we have to talk about, by the way, right? Haas was not the player that was supposed to be at Katowice. He, of course, got in because some other players could not make it. But remember, like in region, Oliveira, of course, world champion. Fantastic. Coffee, maybe not to that level, but it was Oliveira and Coffee in the Asian finals. Haas couldn't even make it there against the Terrans. And yes, is Terran strong in the current meta? Yeah, just a little bit. It's doing pretty well for itself. But, if you can't get past Coffee, and that's nothing against Coffee. Coffee is very good. Running into GuMiho on a land setting when he does have, I mean, there's no ping advantage that you can really give yourself. Well, I don't know. If you can't beat Coffee, GuMiho is going to be a tough cookie, but we're going to have to see if that cookie can crumble the right way. Game 2. And on the bottom left, in the blue, he's down a game for Psystorm. It's Haas.
And his opponent spawning up at the top right in the red. It is GuMiho. By the way, something I want to note, because I was looking right from the get-go for this game. Haas, he didn't build a probe for the first 5 seconds of this game. And I was thinking to myself, oh my goodness, we're going to see the 12 pylon, 13 gate, super stupid fast proxy void ray play. And then he still just started building a probe. So it's not huge. It's not super massive, but he is just a little bit behind where he should be already. And that's just not comfy.
No, certainly not against GuMiho. who looked very solid, who did everything right in that game. And, well, I mean, not everything, and no one's perfect, but he did enough right to really, really run away with that game. And you give your opponent a 5-second head start in game 2? I mean, again, he's going to have to do something special. I don't know what it is, but again, as you said, game 1, no one's going to be able to predict what Haas does. You can look at even a standard build, and Haas might have some special twist to it. So for now, Steadfast, we're just waiting. We're waiting to see how many wrinkles Haas has in his brain today.
Yeah, and hopefully he came with a little something ready to go. For now, just another Twilight Council at home. The thing is, it's not that Blink Stalker, 4-gate Blink Stalker is bad. It's an extremely strong build. One of the most powerful builds in the Protoss arsenal. I think many Terran players and even many Protoss players would probably agree with that concept as well, that it is one of the strongest, especially on maps like Dragon Scales, like Ancient Cistern. But you need some god tier micro to be able to break the best Terrans in the business, and GuMiho certainly falls into that category.
Yeah, in fact, like it's a skill build. Right, Haas has never been someone who wins or loses based on his execution of skills, right? Of Blink Stalker micro or Warp Prism micro or something like that. No, he's always won because of the mental game, because he proxies something oddly and no one ever expects it, or he hits with a weird timing or does something like that. And again, 4-gate Blink is not something that allows you to do that. But GuMiho, not only did Haas give him a 5-second advantage, he's gonna spot him a couple probes. He had the wall ready, but he didn't put anything in the wall. So this is gonna be he's gonna be 5 probes Steadfast going down on top of the 5 seconds. I mean, just look at this. Like, it's easy to look at the early game and say, yeah, you know, supplies, they're going to be different breakpoints where the Terran is ahead or the Protoss is ahead, but 28 to 43, 4 minutes in, it's rough.
Yep. And he's going for the 4-gate Blink Stalker once again.
I don't like this.
And I mean, I like it as a concept in theory if he was max packs or if he was in a good position. But I mean, I don't know. I don't see much opportunity. And GuMiho hasn't even done like the real damage part of his build yet, which is this 3 Widow Mine drop. Now in the previous game, it was 4 mines. One of them walked into the natural, and that was the one that got the big damage done. But even if he just gets a probe for each mine at this point, like GuMiho's just going to be in such a great economic position. He'll be able to scout what's happening. Blink is nearly done. Oh, nice job from Haas. Oh, but GuMiho, well, Haas wasn't really paying attention there.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. No.
Oh, it's okay.
Oh, okay.
That was
Could've been
almost
a lot worse.
I mean, it's still game ending, but that was almost really game ending.
When you combine everything together, Haas is not in a position that he can macro out of. Absolutely not. He must win the game with this 4-gate Blink Stalker. And GuMiho has already got 1 tank up. He's got a bunker in the natural. It is empty. He's building a bunker in the main. That one's not done yet. I mean, he's going to have to blink into a siege tank. Oh, he will be able to take it down, but he knows he can't do anything beyond that. 8 more probes had fallen on the other side of the map.